G'day everyone. I've recently been sent another cage for my A9. The issue is because the A9 has different controls, which you can see through here, you can't use the standard cage that you use for the A7 III or even the A7 R3 due to the fact that you can't get to these areas if you need to. So you do need a special cage. This cage will fit the A7 III though and the A7 R3. I just tried it on my A7 III and it was fine because you don't have that access on this side that's a worry. So you do need a special cage if you want to get to these controls easily. So I asked SmallRig if they'd send me one and they did send me this cage. It's a toss-up sometimes between using the L bracket type cages or going for a full cage. It just really depends on how much you'd like to connect to your camera. Obviously you get way more mounting points that you can get on this, but I'll talk about this as a whole in another video later on. But the beauty of having a cage like this, it does give you the ability to mount these things like rails on here. I've also put rails on the side through here. And I've even put a HDMI protector here so I can put the HDMI cable in and lock that HDMI cable in through there as well. It also has an Arri connector through here so I can put on a handle, and I'll show you this fully built up and we'll have a look at that as well. But the great part about this is it does give you really good protection all through the camera itself. As you know, weather sealing, you can get problems if you put the camera down on wet areas with the A9 or the A7 III or the A7 R3. But this will keep it off the ground, so there is a little bit of protection there, which is really good at the same time. So like I said, also you have different mounting points. So you've got mounting points that you can put through here. There's all mounting points that you can put from the side and even down here as well, like I said, where I put the Arri part as well. And I've stuck one at the top, and I'll show you how I use this in a minute, because I put a cage on these sections. You could even put lights or anything else that you wanted to add on there too. But the beauty is too here now that there's also a cold shoe adapter through here. You still have full access to your actual hot shoe, so you don't lose any of that, which is great. And it seems to be like a really nice cage. It's very well fitting. There's no movement in this that I can feel. It feels very tight through there. You've got really good access if you want to get to your battery and things like that. And obviously you can mount on here any of your mounting solutions like your Manfrotto or Arca Swiss or anything else that you'd like to mount through there as well. You've also got full access to all of your ports too, so you can get through that as well. But it seems really nice. So let's have a look at how we can sort of set this up a little bit depending on how we use it. Now, I do an awful lot of hand shooting now with the Sony cameras due to the fact that the IBIS, I've got very good at it. Now, I'm not saying it's something you should do unless you do practice a lot. You can always attach this to a monopod and then quickly take it off and then use it handheld if you wanted to do some different type of shooting. But like I said, I often do stills and video at the same time, and I am often hand holding now, and the stabilization, plus I can stabilize it in the software like Final Cut as well. So a couple of things that I wanted to put on this. So I asked SmallRig if they'd also send me a wooden handle. I was interested to try another one. Now this is a different handle to what I've got here, and I'll talk about these separately in another video later on when I'm starting to talk about attachments and things. But I was really interested in looking at this solution due to the fact that you can move the handle up and down and it really does feel nice due to the fact that it's made of wood. But the great part about this is the way you can take it off very easily, whereas you can't do that with the other handle. So all you need is a rail that you can use here. Now I've added two on this. There's one here and there's one up here. So one of these I'm going to use for the monitor, and this one here you can use for the handle. So the great part about this is I can just connect the handle, and then all you do is just tighten that up. And then it's on the camera ready to go, and you can see it's very, very strong. But the great part is too, if you don't like it in that position, you can move that along. Now I could stick a longer rail on this side, and then obviously you would have much more room to move this around, but it's a really neat solution. I'm just putting it on the ground like that, and then I'm tightening it up so that it fits flush like that when it's sitting on the ground. But you can see there what a great solution it is. It feels really nice in the hand. Now the thing that I've found is that the second you put a larger grip on like this, it's way easier to control the camera if you're trying to hand hold the footage rather than, you know, trying to hand hold it where it's a lot smaller. The more holding areas that you can grab, it tends to be much more stable in how you're going to use it. Now you can even extend this a little bit more, and I'll show you that just in case, because I already had this. Now I did buy this. Full disclosure, SmallRig sent me these though, so I didn't pay for these, but I did buy these handles because I do use these all the time as well. You'll notice on the side here there is an Arri area there, so I can just attach this in. So you can see here now where I've added a second handle, and again that really then is good because I can push my shoulders or elbows into my body, and it gives me another point where I can try and get a really stabilized footage. Again, you don't have to use that if you don't want to though, so there's no reason you have to put that on unless you have to, but I find if you're hand shooting these, it's really nice. So now, how do we go about adding some accessories? Well, obviously if you wanted to, having the cold shoe is great because you can then add, if you wanted to, a microphone on that side. And again, just bring that over and clip it into the back. So that's there if you wanted to. It will even fit through here. Like I said, you can put a light if you wanted to on here, which would be great. It's got so many options that you've got there that you can use. But I love using this with monitors because I'm lately just been shooting with the Ninja V all the time. And I'll list these parts in the video as well, but I'm using the Ninja V. This has a cage from SmallRig as well that's on this, which I really like because it does protect it, and it doesn't add that much weight at all, but I just like the fact that it's very protected, and you know, you can mount the HDMI points on there and it sits in really strong. But the great part now is I've got a couple of spots where I can mount this. So I've got, as you saw before, I do have the rail on here, so if I want to I can just slide that in. And then the beauty of this system is because this has that lock on the back through here, I can move this to wherever I want this to go and lock it in that position, and all I do to lock it is just turn that way, which is really nice, and then that's locked in position. And like I said, if I did want to take it off, I can then move it to another point or move it to another section here, which is fantastic. If I did want to switch it around, this great system does allow me then, if I wanted to rotate it. So I can just rotate it to anywhere I'd like, back and forwards. So if I was facing this way, for instance, it can be round and I can do a selfie, which is also really nice as well. But if I don't want it in that position, all I have to do is I can mount it on the side, because sometimes you may want to put it away so that I can see directly through the center there. So what I've done is I've added a small rail that you can see on the side here, and all I do with that is just move it into here, and then it's now separate and on the side. So I prefer this location, like I really like it on that side. And again, if you wanted to, that gives you the ability to put your microphone through here, or I can even put the mic up there if I wanted to as well. It just depends which way you wanted to go. And if you wanted to see the screen behind, like I said, all I have to do is turn this around, and then I can be working low. I put that down like that, or I can move it in so I can see it in this way. It really does bend to whichever way you want it to work with it, and that's what I love so much about this whole system. It protects the camera. Remember, you should never put anything that heavy into the hot shoe of the Sony cameras, because it is a real weak point, and you have to be very, very careful putting anything in there, because it will damage it and it will break off. And that's something that you do have to work or be very careful of. I love the way I've got access to all the controls with the A9 with this cage as well. And it seems to be fantastic. The only sort of downside that I look at, let me just take this off, is that I noticed, and they may update this in later cages, but the newer cages that seem to come out do come with Allen keys rather than using a screwdriver to tighten it in. That's the only thing where I could see that this could probably be improved. But I have, and I purchased this. SmallRig sell these little, they're like a tool that you can buy that has multiple things inside them, that has, and I'll list this for you as well, that has screwdrivers and all of the Allen keys that you need in one little nice little unit. And you can put spare screws inside here as well. So this is another great tool, and I use this all the time. I did buy this one though. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this because I use my A9 more than any other camera for video, so it's fantastic that I can set this up as a full kit if I need to. You don't have to have the handle on this side if you don't want to. Like I said, I just showed you that there, but the beauty is with this handle on this side, which feels beautiful by the way, I can move this up and down, and you've also got the mounting points at the top, and there's a cold shoe even here. Let me take this off, I'll show you. If you wanted to, you can just use this cold shoe on this side, so there's a cold shoe there as well, and it comes off easily just by taking that little adapter there. You can just undo that and then take the handle off if you wanted to travel around more minimalistic. So fantastic. So I will list all of these parts down below. There's a SmallRig affiliate link, so please use that if you do go through there, because that takes you into the site, and then I'll list which items you have to search for. But overall, fantastic solution like most things SmallRig do. I really do love their stuff. I'm going to be getting another mount shortly that I'll show you that you can connect your monitor to, and then I'm going to talk about different solutions for mounting your monitors onto different things, but that will be in a future video. So stay tuned for that. Any questions, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye for now.